We're talking to Mr. William Warfield, and of course, Mr. Warfield, during the last 6 minutes that we have here, let's give you an opportunity to sort of wrap things up for us. But more specifically, let's talk about Old Man River. I think that that's one of the songs that is generally connected with you, and you're generally referred to as Mr. Old Man River himself. And let's have Mr. Old Man River himself tell us about the experience with that song and how you became involved in that kind of information.
Well, frankly, when I became involved in doing Old Man River when I was 16 years old, and I heard Paul Robeson do it in the black and white movie version. Went right out and learned it. Old Man River has gone through so many changes since that time, and Paul Robeson is really responsible for most of the major changes. Right in the beginning, Old Man River represented a comment on the injustices of what was going on during that time. The miscegenation scene, for instance, behind it, Joe was singing Old Man River. The river represented something that was constant, something that would eventually lead to the correction of all wrongs. And when he sang Old Man River, it was sort of like, yes, this is going on now, but the river, you on the river, and it's going to take you to what it will eventually be. It was almost a precursor of We Shall Overcome in this sense. And it went through several versions. Let me see quickly if I can tell you. First, niggers all work on the Mississippi while the white folks play. Through Paul Robeson, it was changed to, there's an old man called the Mississippi. That's the old man. What does he care if the world's got troubles? What does he care if the land ain't free? And that's the version we used in the 1950 version that I made in the movie. Paul went even further. He made it his protest song, and he said, he said, there's an old man called a Mississippi. That's the old man I don't want to be. What does he care if the world's got troubles? And at the end, where we says, you and me, we sweat and strain, body all aching and racked with pain, tote that bars, lift that bell, get a little drunk. He changed it, get a little gunk, and you land in jail. And at the end, where we say, but I gets weary and sick of trying, he said, but I keeps laughing instead of crying, but I'll keep fighting until I'm dying while Old Man River rolls along. You wasn't going to wait for Old Man River. And we use these versions all the time, for Old Man River itself. How much time do we have?
We've got about three minutes. We've got about 3 minutes.
But that was basically my feeling when I sing Old Man River, and it's usually, every time I sing it, it's a little different, because I think in terms of what's happened to me during the day. I mean, the lines that was in it before, new things come and old things go, but all things look the same to Joe. Wars go on and some folks die, the rest forget the reason why. And isn't that what's happening today?
It really is.
So it's
that's
very
what makes
current.
Yeah, very good. No, continue on about that.
Now, that also, because people have asked me many times, what do I think when I'm doing it? It varies. I mean, I sang Old Man River the other night, and I almost wanted to weep because I just seen the news with all of things that's happening in Kosovo with the people that are routed from their homes and thrown out, and I wanted to say, well, Old Man River keeps rolling on, you know, there is hope as long as we feel that these things are going to be changed, and these things are going to reach a climax, and what in the dead center of God's brain is an image, Dr. Thurgood did it to me, and is an image of man in his own creation. And eventually we will be that image of God. And we are not that yet, but we're still in the process of becoming the image in God's brain of what man should be. And I really believe that.
You know, and I think in a real sense, that's what Old Man River and all the things that you do capture. It points out the universality of things, too, more than anything, that while it might be applied to the ethnic situation there, it has been applied to the African-American situation here and et cetera, but there's a universality about it.
Of course,
and, you know, I think that you've given us so much just excellent information about your own background and all of that information, Mr. Warfield, and I wish that we had an opportunity to create a forum so that we could hear you sing Old Man River, you know, right within this forum. We do know that you'll be singing other places within the area, but we just don't have the opportunity to simply hear you sing the great song that you're really known for and you're famous for. But we're also just encouraged to know all of the other things that you've been involved in. But over the last minute that we have here, why don't you make some kind of statement in reference to our young people?
I'd like to go further than saying just work hard. You have to, whatever field you're in, not have blinders. You have to be aware of anything cultural that will contribute to what you're doing as a career. It may be symphony orchestra, it may be concert music, it may be going to the art gallery, it may be just looking at paintings. But to be aware of the universality of art. Leontine, who I was married to at one time, said, Bill, she said, the closest we get to God is through our art. And if we serve him through our art, then we've accomplished something. And you can't do that by having blinders and just going in one direction. Be aware of everything around you.
And let us thank you for your art today, Mr. Warfield. And let us encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you.
Watch